So, in this lesson, we're going to be looking at connecting with characters. It is a part of our literature lessons, and we're going to be looking at a particular type of genre while we address this element. We're going to be looking at Gothic horror. These are your scary movies, these are your um, scary stories that you might tell during Halloween time. And it deals with a combination of fiction, horror, death, and romance. Now, sometimes when we address horror to bring the comic relief, we look at satire. And satire is simply just a conversation that is poking fun at a character or an element. So the two types of literary elements that we're going to be addressing is style and form. But let's look at style first. Style is describing the way that an author uses words. In order to develop mood, images, and meaning in the text, the author uses word choice, sentence structure, figurative language, and sentence arrangement to give us an overall view of what that character is going through. Then we have form. This is the second literary element that we're going to be addressing. Form is the physical structure of a poem. Now, I told you before we're going to be looking at short stories and poems. So for form, we're going to be looking at how an author uses the length of a line, the theme of a pattern, or a repetition of a particular word or line. Edgar Allan Poe was one of the first authors who used all of these elements that we have already discussed. Edgar Allan Poe's notion was the unity of effect. He believed that in a written set of work, the finale, or the end, the climax of events, all had to tie in with the elements that were in the story. Everything had a purpose, everything had a reason for being in the story. So the plot is always drawn down to explain the matters or the explanation or gives you the resolution to the story. That was his belief and his notion. So let's look at characters. Characters are people, animals, or objects in a novel, short story, play, or movie. I know you've seen a lot of those. So a protagonist, that's the main character of the story. That is sometimes your hero, that is sometimes your villain, that might be the main character. But he is the one the story is centered around, whether it's a play, movie, poem, whatever. The antagonist. This is the character or force that the protagonist, remember we said the protagonist was the main character, struggles against or must overcome. So if it's a force of evil, then the main character or the protagonist has the evil, which is the antagonist that it must overcome. So that's the end of this lesson. And we're going to look at some of the protagonist and antagonist people in our upcoming story.